Hello princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the Holika Holika Eye Metal Glitters. I picked these up for a full face of Holika Holika because they looked really fun and the colours online actually looked a little bit more broad than they do here. There are 4 colours in the range and I personally don't think that they are actually super different in the tube. They do look like really similar, but on the eyes they do look a little bit more different, so I can get on board with that. At the moment I am wearing number 2, which is Rose Burst, which I think is probably my favourite of the colours in the range because it's like a rosy coloured base with a silver glitter. Like, you know, it's me. So for these shadows, the product description says, Holika Holika's Fall Winter 2017 makeup collection offers a liquid eyeshadow with a metallic finish. The intense pigmentation and glittery powder helps you to create a dramatic look. Use your fingertip to pack colour onto eyelid for a more iridescent effect and minimal fallout. So the packaging of these products is pretty minimal. They do have a clear plastic section at the bottom so you can see the colour, but because the colours are quite similar, it does get a little bit difficult to tell them apart sometimes. They have a really nice doe foot applicator that picks a lot of product, so I highly recommend removing a little bit of it before you start because it is very liquidy and otherwise you may end up with very sticky eyelids. So this one is shade number 1, which is called Stella Dust. This shade has the most sparkle and it kind of has like a nude, like peachy tone of a base but silver glitter. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like when you apply it with a brush. So I'm going to place the glitter on my eyelid to start with, and I did scrape off quite a lot of this. Otherwise I find it a little bit hard to blend. And then I'm just going to use a flat shader brush to blend that out a little bit. For me, I think that this is probably one of the easier ways to get the glitter and the actual pigment of the shadow underneath looking even. Otherwise it can look a little bit blotchy, especially with the darker colours. So now I can go back and apply just a little bit more so I can get a more intense sparkle. So that is what Stella Dust looks like on one eye. It's really pretty and really shimmery. I'm going to quickly do the other eye now. So that is what Stella Dust looks like on my eyes. I think that the shade is super pretty and I find the glitters actually dry down really nice and quick. They do come off on your fingers a little bit if you do touch them, so there is a little bit of the glitter fallout, but I don't mind it too much because I don't rub my eyes. So you can see that there is a slight peachy beige undertone, but the glitter in this one is the main attraction. Also looks really nice when it's not in focus. You can see the glitter really well. This is going to exfoliate my eyelids way too much to get off. Pray for my eyelids. Okay, so there's still a little bit of glitter on there, but I literally cannot get it off. Shade number 2 is Rose Burst, which has the same silver glitter as Stella Dust, but it has a really pretty rosy base. So with this one, I'm going to show you what it looks like if I use my finger to apply the product. So I'm going to do the same thing and apply the base of mounted product with the brush, and then I'm going to use my finger to gently pat it into my eye. I think with some of the shades this does result in the glitter actually coming off on my fingers, and I find it way harder to blend, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. So I have to kind of like gingerly like poke at my eyeball. Okay, so that is what it looks like when it's applied with my finger. And I'll actually do the other side with the brush and see if we can see any difference in application. I put my mirror to the side today, so I'm going to see if this is any better or any worse. It just means that I can get the camera actually closer to the desk, so it's hopefully more in focus, because when I edited some of the other videos, like the cheek and the lip swatches, I noticed that they weren't like quite in focus, and that really annoys me. So that is Rose Burst on my eyelids. I personally think that the brush does a better job at patting out the glitter without actually taking it off. So I think that the brush side looks, to me, nicer. But if you want a more sheer finish without so much glitter, I would use your fingers. I think that Rose Burst looks really nice on my eyelids. Even though it has a pink base, it doesn't make me look like I've got too much pink eye. Like, sometimes I find that with pink bases it makes my eyes look like they're almost swollen or infected, but this doesn't do that. It's a really nice pinky colour, and this is what it looks like up close. So this side I used the brush. There's quite a lot of glitter and I think that it's blended nicer. And then this side I used my finger. There's a lot less glitter and I don't think it's as well blended because I can't really get my finger that well into the inner corner or around the crease. So that is my personal preference, and this is the colour Rose Burst. Shade number 3 is Burnt Orange, and it is definitely my least favourite colour out of the range. It has an orange undertone with gold glitter. I'm just really not an orange gal, but it is like a nice burnt orange colour, so that is what it looks like without being blended. You can of course build these up quite nicely if you want to layer on more and more and more of the glitter and the pigment underneath. All you need to do is wait for it to dry and then add a second layer, and then boom, easy peasy. You can of course use these on top of other shadows too. They don't have to be just used by themselves. I think that they're kind of harder to use by themselves, to be honest, because it's hard to blend. Like, you can only blend a glitter so much. It needs something else in the crease really, but I'm just showing you the product, so that's why I'm doing it this way. But I have definitely used these with other shadows before, and they work really well. I would just recommend using a brush to blend them out rather than fingers. I think the brush also helps not to get glitter like in random places around your eye, although obviously when I'm taking them off and doing the swatches, I'm getting glitter literally everywhere, like inside my eye, on my eyelashes, on my nose. There's some in and around my eyebrows at the moment, but it's the glitter herpes. Like, once you have it on your face, it's really hard to get rid of it. So we're just gonna roll with it for a bit. This side is getting a bit dramatic, but that's fine. So this is Burnt Orange. It has an orange base with gold glitter. And this is what it looks like up close. This eye got a little bit high and intense with the blending. They are a little bit hard to blend out seamlessly because they do dry pretty fast. But once they dry, it's quite nice because you can look up, you can look down, you can do whatever, and they don't all start to print onto the top of your eyelids either. The last shade is called Firework, and it is a really deep red sort of orange colour with gold glitter. Again, I don't love this colour. I don't like really hate it. I like it more than Burnt Orange, I think, but it's a pretty intense colour for me. I think for me this one definitely looks better with a colour or shadow underneath, because it's just hard to blend, because this one is the most pigmented of the base colours. Yeah, not a huge fan of this one by itself. Just going to add a little bit more to the centre to really amp up the shimmer. But I find when you're using a brush to apply these, they dry down so quickly, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing if you only want it on a certain part of your eye, because it's going to dry and it's not going to print onto the rest of your eye. But it's also a bad thing if you're trying to blend it, because it's drying on your eye quickly. Okay, so that is Firework. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this one because the pigment is so pigmented. So like the base color, which is like that really deep reddy orange shade, is quite bright. I prefer the ones that are just a little bit more glittery because they are easier to work with. I also feel like I need to change my lip color now, which is so annoying. And this is what it looks like up close. So you can see that this one doesn't look quite as good because it's just like impossible to blend. Like, it's really, really harsh, but the glitter is beautiful. I think the color combination is lovely. It's not necessarily for me, and I find it hard to use, but it is still nice. So this is what the shadows look like after wearing them for a full day. There is a little bit of creasing, and like, I don't think you can really see it, but some sections where the glitter has flaked off a little bit, but it's not super noticeable, and I think that the longevity is not bad actually. Just a little creasing, but nothing major at all. So for these shadows, I think that they are really pretty, but I think that they do better with other shadows rather than just being used by themselves. They do dry down quite quickly, which makes them really easy to use as like a pop of colour or glitter in the centre of your eyelid, because when you open your eyes, if you blend it out beforehand, they're not going to imprint onto the top of your eyelid, which I think is really good. But because they blend out so quickly, it makes them really difficult to use as a solo shadow because it's just too hard to blend it out. Plus also, have you tried to blend out like proper chunky glitter on your eyelid? It's like exfoliating your eyelid. It's not a pleasant feeling. So although I do enjoy using these, I think that they work best for me personally over other shadow colours as a little pop of glitter and colour. I don't mind how it looks today, but when I look close, I can see like that it isn't blended, and that kind of annoys me. These are from the fall and winter 2017 collection. In New Zealand we don't get a lot of products until way later, so I'm kind of not surprised that these are that old. But they are relatively expensive. I believe I bought mine for about $5 each, which I think is a really good price. They also have fairly good longevity. I found that they stay glittery all day, but they do crease a little bit at the end of the day, which is a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. You can blend them back using your finger throughout the day, but yeah, it is worth mentioning. So overall, I really like Stella Dust and Rose Burst, but Burnt Orange and Firework probably aren't going to be staples in my routine because I just don't really like the orange colours on myself personally. But if you're looking for a liquid glitter that is super glittery, I would definitely recommend them. I don't think I've tried anything that is quite this level of intense glitter, which I think is really cool, and they're really inexpensive as well. So if you're looking for something super bright, super glittery and pigmented and inexpensive, I would highly recommend these. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!